So part of this podcast, you're going to be able to follow various Instructable things and see how they develop and maybe do some of it yourself. So I'm going to demonstrate the first step in the most advanced form of theft. I have here a packet of Tesco brand Scotch Bonnet chilies, right? Flavor Town. And I'm going to use these to cook something. But first, I'm going to open up the packet. I realise I've not got a microphone. Right. You want to take one of them. You want to cut off the top of it, right? Realise this is slightly out of shot. There we go. I raised it up a little. Cut that boy open. Get the seeds, right? And you want to keep like little containers, like little spice pots are really useful. So I got this one. So you take your little pot. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at them seeds. Oh, they're going everywhere. There we go. I've got a bunch of them.
Viewers, remember to wash your hands after handling these. You do not want to touch your genitals.
Notice that I only held the outside. I've not touched the inside of the chili, but my hand is still going to be spicy. But Adam is absolutely right. You've got to be very careful with this, especially if you're intending on engaging any kind of intimate activity. So I've got to be careful. My fingers are currently spicy, and I need
Unless you're into that.
I don't know who's into that, but maybe. Scarlett, do you know anyone who's into like chili in their like private parts? No. Scarlett says no. If Scarlett says no, then it's not a thing. She doesn't know it. Then that basically confirms that that's just not a thing. Stop reading Urban Dictionary. She says it must be a thing. All right. Well, anyway, Scarlett will be on a future episode at some point that we've got planning coming up. But
Tales from Cyberdog.
Yeah, Tales from Cyberdog. So you can see from the camera the specimen, right? Now I'm gonna grab it. You want to label it. Now, if you get into doing stuff like making things, masking tape and a Sharpie is your best friend because you're going to want to label everything. So I'm going to label this one. I'm going to write SB. I've done that bit fucked up, but obviously it's backwards on the camera. Scotch Bonnet, right? So on the next episode, I'm going to plant these seeds, and like a bunch of episodes in, if you stay with us, if you stick with the journey, you're going to see some Scotch Bonnet plants, and you're going to see a whole new bunch of Scotch Bonnets that have come from these very seeds. You'll be able to trace it all the way back. That'll be in like 7 or 8 months.
Let's highlight that these are for eating and not for self-defense, despite the obvious self-defense capacities of the Scotch Bonnet.
That is a very excellent point. One thing you're really not allowed to do is defend yourself. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to sort of blend it into a strong paste and then put that in some sort of spraying vessel so that you could eject that liquid directly into the eyes of some kind of potential assailant. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that despite the fact that it would be incredibly effective self-made mode of self-defense that you are not allowed to do, that I do not advocate doing, nor do I recommend, effective though it would be. So for an example of the sort of things, I don't just grow chilies, that'd be boring. You may have been saying, he's got a nice looking dark pint of stout going. What's that? It's backwards. That is a waft mocha stout. That's home brewed. Might be showing you some brewing techniques. And another special little number that I've started making this year, if I can find it.
Oh, don't worry, none of the text is backwards, by the way. This is a great system.
Oh, it's not. I thought the text was back. The text was backwards, but it turns out that's just how I'm saying it. This is Waft Whiskey Mark 1. That's a whiskey made from scratch. You might be able to notice at the bottom, there's some some little oak twigs floating around. That is some Somerset, South Cadbury oak. I'm a West Country Somerset boy. Occasionally the accent will come out. Right, my liver. Right, my trotter. Make my whiskey. It's got Somerset oak from South Cadbury. Anyway, so I'll be showing you cool stuff like how to make stuff, and you can follow it along over time, see the development. So yeah, that is the Waft Instructable for today.
All right. I don't know if the mic picked up. Matt just let out a fucking massive burp. That was cracking. Anyway, if you tuned into our last episode, because people tune into shit these days, you may have seen me pick some seeds out of a Scotch Bonnet chili from Tesco, right? And you might be wondering, what do you do next? Well, you're about to fucking find out. So I've got this little boy, right? And he makes a little hole there in each of the little. I realise the lighting's not ideal, but you get the idea. There's a little bit of compost in each one. Matt turned up earlier and I dropped the compost all over the carpet. Don't do that, ideally. Wouldn't recommend that. Just get the seeds out. Remember, you don't, get handsy with your lady, so to speak, after handling these seeds. She will not appreciate it, and that's putting it lightly.
She might be kinky.
I think I asked Scarlett last episode.
Yeah, we sorted this last episode.
Yeah,
Turns
it's
out
not-
hard
It's
now.
not a thing. She
Not a
says it's
thing.
not a thing. The eagle-eyed viewer might have noticed that I put 3 seeds in one hole. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you're not confident about... Fuck, I just dropped one on the carpet. If you're not confident about germination, which I'm not, because
I'm not confident about the
really-
Germination.
No, I'm not... If you're not
They've
confident
never
about the
seen a genocide
germination,
they didn't want to get involved in.
then you can triple, or if you're just concerned about you don't want you're living in a flat in London, you don't have a lot of space, so you don't have space for a lot of these things and you want to grow a lot of veg. So what you can do is you can triple up on each cell, and if all 3 germinate, what you can do is you can just separate them quite easily, just tease the little tap roots apart. Don't worry, I'll show you on the episode. If you stick with us, you'll see me teasing those little seedlings apart. And, you'll be like, oh, I feel confident now that I could grow a few little chilies on my windowsill. We will get into things like pest control, though. You've got to be concerned about broadleaf mites and aphids, of which I'm currently having a big issue.
Don't let them tease your seedlings, do you?
So you can see I've almost dropped a bunch of seeds. I think I've done more than 3, to be honest. I've just dropped loads in there. Doesn't matter because I just nicked him all out of the Scotchy bee from Tesco, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, you might see.
Did you leave the Scotch bonnet there?
The Scotch Bonnet's still in the fridge. I think Scarlett used a bit
I
of it.
thought,
In
I
the
thought you were saying.
stir-fry.
I thought you were saying you were in Tesco's and you nicked.
Oh,
the
no, I
seeds
didn't.
Straight from like a Scotch bonnet that was like already
Just
out.
it's on the
I'm
middle.
thinking like, did you just like leave this fucking thing there?
So I've labelled this, and that's SB. That's Scotch Bonnet. I've got bird's eye chili seeds, red chili seeds, and also sweet pepper seeds. Right, and I've got them. This is my sweet pepper. It looks like it says SD. I appreciate that. It actually says SP. Sweet pepper. Got me red chili, the bird's eye chili, and I'm going to do all of them. And I've got 3 of these. I've got 2 more there, so I'm going to have lots of seeds, lots of little seedlings. Once they sprout, spread them out. I'm going to add a little bit of water in there, just a little bit. I would have done it on this, but I forgot to do that, so I'm going to do that afterwards. But only just a little few bits in each cell. Don't overwater it. They don't like that. But it all takes practice, really. It's only so much you can be shown theoretically. So that is our Instructable for today. Scotch Bonnets. We're still going with that. If you tuned into our first episode, I showed you how you can take seeds out of an ordinary supermarket chili or pepper, and then in episode 2, if you tuned in, you'll see how you can plant those seeds and they'll germinate into a new plant. Now, I was looking at my little propagator earlier and I thought, oh dear, I'm going to have to now give a bit of a speech about failure and how when you try things, they don't always work out and, you just got to keep learning from it. However, right before the show, he's alive. So we've got a first little boy popping up there. I think that's a Scotch bonnet. It might be a sweet pepper. I can't remember if it was that way around or that way around. But either way, we'll figure out in due course. You remember what the leaves look like. But yeah, so we've got a bit of germination on that. Today's Instructable.
Transmission.